if you got money like that, it's on you to be responsible. So if you're gonna go out here and raw dog chicks and ski at them, that's on you. I mean, so what if she's trying to come up? You played a part in that role. You skeeted in her.
That was my question.
I promised the listeners we didn't plan this, but my question is going to seem like just a follow-up to yours, and we briefly kind of touched on it. But so Razi in the past has always said he doesn't believe in gender roles, and I think we all somewhat agree. I had a little pushback on it, but we all somewhat agree with it, and we see where jobs now have, in addition to maternity leave, they have paternity leave now for fathers as well. So everything is changing to where the male parent has just as much involvement as the female parent. My question to you guys is, because I stated it during my answer to Ferg, should our court system look at, when parents split and we're deciding who keeps the kid, it seems like it automatically goes to the woman. Should we rethink that to where it starts off like any sports game where the score is 0-0 and you need to determine who is best? It shouldn't be the father has to prove that the mother is unfit for him to get him. It should be like, hey, where would this child flourish the most with which parent? So is that something we need to rethink, or you feel like naturally women are more nurturing and that more than likely the child is better off with the mom?
I don't know if Portia actually said that on the show or just talking to us after, and she was like, the kids don't need to come with me. And that's like the perfect example of yes, I agree. I think the courts needs to rethink this. I mean, because it really is, fathers may not be as nurturing from a traditional sense. That doesn't mean they're not nurturing. It, like I think Ferg said it a couple times. It's like, it's not that it's right or wrong. It's just different. Like, fathers just raise kids differently for the most part. And that's because of how we've been raised. And so we raise kids a little differently. But that doesn't mean we can't be actively engaged. That doesn't mean that we can't do what needs to happen to raise those children. And so I definitely start rethinking. I don't know. Here's how we are going to, select the custodial parent. And like you said, Buff, it's not necessarily automatically the woman gets it. It's not the mom that's going to get it automatically. It's 0-0. Who does what? Oh, who watches the kids the most? Who does this the most? Like, have the kids say which one they want to go with, in there, and that be part of it. Who is more nurturing? Because you'd be surprised how often that the father is actually the more nurturing or caring person in the relationship. A lot of times it's because the mom has primary, like, kid duty, and so they're annoyed with the kids and they're overwhelmed, and so they're the fussy ones, and so the father may actually be the more nurturing one in this situation. So you really can't just automatically assume that either anymore. So yeah, I definitely agree, man. They need to relook at it, change it, and get rid of that idea that it's automatically the woman and then the guy has to state his case.
I agree with you 100%. And even furthermore, I think a lot of times the parent knows themselves. And sometimes it's an internal struggle to admit the truth that you might not be. And this is the nuance of it. It's not saying either parent is bad. You're right. It's not like if the kids go with dad, they're destined for failure. If they stay with mom, they're going to be a success. It's just saying, who is better suited to raise these kids under the current circumstances? Is it, how's the plan going to go? Do finances, what part does finances play in this? If the father's making more money and he takes the kids, is he going to get spousal support or child support? And can the mother afford that? Which I don't think sometimes they take in consideration when it comes to the father. But if you take these things and you become, I really in life have really making a point to try to take a neutral standpoint on things and then go from there and elaborate on both points. I think we would see more things split, and I don't know, man. That's a really good question, Byron. I look at that on so many things when it comes to who gets the kids, how things go in divorce as far as the finances. It's people leverage too many things. Like I personally know people who have leveraged the kids in those situations where now I have the kids, and now if you want to see your kids, you're going to play by this book.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of it too, because the mother might be in a better situation in a regular situation, but because of the way she's going to handle situations moving forward, is it better for the kids? Do the kids suffer because now mom or dad is jaded and there's not going to be, they don't get to develop that relationship? What is truly best for the kids?
You kind of touched on my answer too, because in a perfect world, kids wouldn't be used as pawns in a lot of this. And a lot of times they are, to do exactly what you said. And the money aspect behind it. Like, if I have the kids, that means I get his money. And like you say, everything gets to be by my rules if he wants to see them or she wants to see them. I do want to say that I feel like everything should be taken into account, not just the money, but like, proximity to school, your work schedule. If you have other kids, you know what I mean? Like, what type of home you're living in, like everything should be taken into consideration to do what's best for the kid. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's not. It would be great if the two parents could work it out among themselves, because I feel like if me and Tabitha ever separated or divorced, because of where I work and the unpredictable hours, more than likely I'm going to say, hey, Jasmine is better off with you, because I can't always guarantee I'm going to be off in time to be, well, she's getting older now, so she don't necessarily need me to pick her up from school. But when she was younger, all that plays a factor. So you wish the parents could work it out. And when they can't, you wish that the courts could do it in a more fair and reasonable and updated way. You know what I mean? And not just based off whatever is based off from the past.
Yeah, because I look at some of those like superstar breakups, right, where they're paying like $20,000 a day and stuff like that. Like, who's the girl that is it Bundle of Brittany or whoever it is that she just got over on some basketball player,
rookie, yeah.
Yeah, like she got married, had a baby by him, and then divorced him like months after she had the baby. And it's like he's gonna be paying, I think it's like $12,000 a month or something like that. So which isn't horrible, but at the same time, that's a pretty good chunk of change. Would it make more sense for him to just maintain custody, and he could give that baby whatever the baby wanted with a full-time nanny or whatever, and I don't know, build a house or a wing on his mansion and be like, Bundle of Brittany, you can stay here as long as you want. I don't think
that's her name, but
please. That's like her Instagram handle or whatever. That's the only reason I know of her, because somebody shared her talking like, because she was like, oh, I got a baby seat in here, but it's stepdaddy season or whatever, because she's already on the prowl for the next guy or whatever. So that's the only reason why I kind of remembered that. Like, it stuck out. So yeah, I don't follow her.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, I know.
At the end of the day, it comes to what kind of life is that child going to have?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the child stays with Bundle of Brittany, but now he or she, the baby, is growing up in a household where the mother is looking for the next stepfather. Is she providing a stable house for that baby? Financially, she's okay, but what is the child learning and stuff like that. It's a lot that goes into that. I mean, I think character evaluations, all that stuff needs to be taken into consideration, and the final judgment on what the child should have input. And I think it should be revisited every so often. So you learn to leverage. I mean, you learn not to leverage. So like if you're doing this, you get the child. So you get the child first, and the judge sees these things. Are you getting your visitation? What challenges are you having? You know, on either level. It's he only pays this. He doesn't come see the child. He doesn't want to do anything outside of the bare minimum. Well, you know what, ma'am? Keep doing what you're doing. But hey, Your Honor, look at these text messages, these group, like I cannot see my child if I don't do this. Look at this, and this. And it's like, well, ma'am, are you causing a rift between you and the child, the father and the child? That's not helpful. So we're about to move it over here, you know? And by the way, let me see your pay stubs.
You both said let the child have input. Is there like an age limit? Because you know the child, depending on the age,
that's a lot of pressure.
Influence. Yeah,
that's a lot of pressure on the child too. I think in science, I mean, there's psychologically, there could be a test where they don't understand what's going on, where they are asked a series of questions, not just saying you like mama better or daddy better. It's like, you know, who does more of this? You know, when I say this
when this happens, who would you go to?
Yes,
for this?
When I say this word, do you give me 5 words when, you know, what are the first 5 words that come to your mind when you say dad? What are the first 5 words when you say mom? Like there's some kind of test I feel that can be formulated where you're saying, okay, based off of this child associates these 5 things with dad, these 3 things with mom. Here are some negative things about mom. Here are some negative, because at that point, the child really doesn't know, you know?
Yeah. Cause I think right now at 12, they have say. So the courts have already put that in place, but I think even younger than that, you need to be able to have some say in it.
Yeah, because I think, but then also because I wouldn't make it a who do you want, because at that point the child feels obligated. I think a lot of times to go want, you know, most times,
and they're going to feel bad for the parent that they didn't choose, right?
Yeah.
They're going to feel like, and they shouldn't do that. So yeah, I definitely don't think it should be a, you know, put them in the middle and let them go to the one that they should go to type thing. You know, have both parents like, come on, Susie, come on.
Get the PlayStation game.
I'll also say this too, guys. A lot of it isn't going to change until we normalize fathers having custody of their kids, because a lot of times when both parents decide that, hey, it's better for the father, we actually have a friend. I didn't get permission to speak on her about this, but we have a friend now whose daughter lives with the parent because of the work schedule that her job requires her to travel. And she's dealt with the whole, what kind of mom are you? You know what I mean? Like almost a stigma, like you're a bad mom because you don't have your kids.
But if it was a father.
And it plays a part. Exactly. It plays a part.
No questions asked.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so, and that's the thing. This even goes further into your question. Should the mother feel obligated?
Exactly.
To
keep the child,
to take the kid.
Yeah, because that's the other part about it is so many mothers fight for custody because of society telling them they should have custody, not necessarily that they know they're the better parent. Sometimes they know the father's the better parent, or that's going to be better for the child, and they still will fight for custody because they don't want that stigma.
And then vice versa, fathers might not fight as hard because they already feel like, hey, we know where this is going. So
yeah, basically, you know, as a father, if she's not a crackhead, I'm pretty sure that I'm not getting it. So I'm not about to spend $5,000-$10,000 trying to fight for custody of this child. Like, I got a homeboy that, like, his ex-wife or baby mama they weren't married, but like she was damn near a crackhead, like almost there. Like he had enough proof to be like
crackish.
Yeah, she was crackish and still didn't keep the child. So, you know, it's a tall order to actually get them to say, yes, the father can have that child. And at one point, I have another friend that literally the child is over 12, said they wanted to stay with the father. Father had the child for multiple years, and the court still gave the mother custody.
Can we go deep, or how do we want to go? I got some questions now. Like,
So,
Rise, this
well,
towards you.
let me go turn off my chicken and gravy off my crock pot. I'll be right back.
After these messages. So, Razi, this is going into you. So, let me know if this question doesn't make you comfortable. So, in your situation, I think even in the beginning when Jen passed, people were just so worried. Could you do the job?
Mm-hmm.
And you spoke on this before.
Yeah.
And let's say in an alternative world, things were different. You could be just as good of a parent. And Jen was an awesome mom. I know that. But your kids are still thriving. They're still so this conversation is like, do you think you would have had a fighting chance, or did you think you deserved the chance? Because a lot of times we don't feel like we deserve the chance, or we're taught to think we can't do the job. And you're doing a great job. I see the kids all the time. I was seeing the kids quite often, and they're thriving.
Yeah, for me, it's very difficult because Jen was such a great mom, right? To be like, I would fight for it, because I probably wouldn't, right? It's like, you keep the kids, you're a great mom or whatever. I wouldn't, because I had to adjust my life and my schedule so much in order to be able to continue to, keep them thriving, that I wouldn't have thought I'm going to adjust myself like this or adjust my life like this so that I can keep the kids. So I probably would have let them. Okay. But again, that's going back to the parents knowing which one. But I do think that I felt like I was a good enough parent even before that I would have had a fighting chance in my mind, but I would have known that the court wouldn't have seen it that way. Yeah. Like I wouldn't have had a fighting chance at all in the courts. Yeah,
but even then, like your situation wasn't the norm because Jen was a stay-at-home mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if in most situations, both parents are working. So at some point, one of the parents, the custodial parent, which I think is part of the challenge for any custodial parents, they have to adjust their life to be a parent who keeps the kids. It doesn't have the benefit of having that other parent there consistently. Not saying they're not helping. It's just like, especially if there's distance or anything involved. So, in most situations, guys don't feel like they have a fighting chance. And like I said in the beginning, most people question the fact that you could even do the job.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of goes back to why I didn't feel like I would have a fighting chance in the court, is because they question, can you even do it? When, I talk about me having to adjust my life to be able to be there for the kids and everything. Jen would have had to adjust her life to, oh crap, I got to go get a job now. Like I can't, child support and maybe spousal support. She probably would have got spousal support. Wasn't going to pay for an entire lifestyle for her. So she probably would have had to go get a job. And so there may have been some conversation about who can adjust easier and better in that situation. And it might have been a conversation of, I can adjust my schedule. I can work from home. I can do what I'm doing and be the primary custodian. And then, you can be flighty and, be the, I hate to say it, the hippie that she was. She could be the hippie.
Bro, they're called blippies, bro. Her and Z, blippies.
Oh, and blippies. Black, okay.
Black hippies.
Yeah. So, she could be the blippy that she was and come in and out and still spend time with the kids. Because I could see something like the kids stay at my house, but she picks them up after school, hangs out with them, then brings them back to the house so that she doesn't have to maintain a larger house, multiple bedrooms, that type of stuff. I could see us having that conversation and where I end up being a primary custodian if we separate it. So, it's that conversation that has to happen and the communication. And that's the part that so often in breakups doesn't happen because everybody's pissed at everybody else, right? They can't communicate. The reason why they can't stay married or stay together is probably the reason why they can't be co-parents. Like I think we had that conversation, and so that's all it is. It's that those folks aren't compatible, and so that's what makes the custodian part of it even harder.
All righty, there's so much to be said on this. I got so many scenarios, but that's what's up, Razi. What do you have for us?
Actually, man, we're hitting time now. I'm good with maybe taking 5-10 more minutes if we got anything else to talk about on this one, and then we can just wrap it for the day.
Okay.
So I have my answer on this. What do you guys say to the possible pushback? Well, that would favor if a man, let's say you have a wealthy man that gets a woman pregnant and he wants custody and she doesn't have the resources that he has. So when they go to court, he has this built-in advantage. How do you counter that advantage if he has all this money to have a lawyer that can make the best possible case and she literally has nobody but her word? But she's clearly in this scenario, she's clearly the better parent and the kid would be better off with her. How do you counter that or respond to that, right?
I don't know what makes her clearly the better parent. I mean, is this guy just really
just
hypothetically? This guy just a bad parent. I mean, I think you're gonna have some one-offs. Some people are gonna slip through the cracks, just the same way that so many people slip through the crack and just assume the mother's gonna be the better parent all the time. Like the reverse could be, she can be a sucky parent. He could be a better parent. He just happens to have a lot of money. And the reason she's having this child, the reason she's doing this is because she wants his money. And he's forced to lose his child, pay her all this money. And that doesn't happen every day. We're not having what's your girl's name, Rozzy?
Bundle of Brittany. I don't know her whole name.
We hear that all the time because of the world we live in, but that's not an everyday occurrence. There's not chicks getting over every day, getting pregnant by niggas that make millions of dollars that I know of. It happens, but it's not as much as Tyrone and Jaquisha. If we have any Tyrones or Jaquishas that having baby mama problems, a couple issues. My bad, I just threw names out there. But we see more of those the norm. So, hey, you win some, you lose some. Unless the child is in danger, we don't know what's gonna make a better life for that parent, that child. He might not be as nurturing, but he provides a better life, and that child's able to get a great education, has great support, and
huge network. Going to things, being like there's something to be said to be able to say, my kid, this weekend we're going to the aquarium, next weekend we're going to the art museum, the weekend after that, like those things. Like money provides access, and so having that access to those different things every weekend is a big deal. Where we don't talk and cuddle up on Tuesday nights as much because I'm super busy, but weekend is yours and we out doing things together. And so, there's that balancing act there.
I think that, like I said, it's a one-offs. I mean, it's going to happen. It would happen, but the other happens just as much, if not more. So, and Rozzy, you call that what, September? The what you just described, the aquarium and the art museum.
Well, the art museum isn't here until October, actually. So so shout out Van Gogh. The Van Gogh experience is coming to Birmingham. Super excited about that. So yes, but yeah, I mean, I do. I try to make sure every weekend there's something on their plate that they can say we did something for them, because I know that I don't get a chance to spend as much time with them throughout the week, because it's like work after work, some type of activity after that. We got homework and everything. So there's not a lot of time to just chill out and be a family. So I try to make it as special as I can on those weekends.
Yeah.
So,
and I'll leave with this, Byron. One parent might be a better parent, and that's all, debatable. As long as neither parent is going to be a bad parent and that child's going to be in danger or suffer from that, then such is life, What's your response?
I agree. I would say first, I don't really care that much about a woman taking advantage of a rich guy by getting pregnant, because at the end of the day, if you got money like that, it's on you to be responsible. So if you're gonna go out here and raw dog chicks and ski at them, that's on you. I mean, so what if she's trying to come up? You played a part in that role. You skeeted in her. But the other thing is, I think even if you have this ultra wealthy guy that's able to get the lawyers and stuff, I mean, hopefully, we trust our judicial system to a certain degree. Hopefully the judge will see that, yeah, you have all this money and these resources, but when are you ever going to be there for the child? You traveling to Hong Kong and overseas, 3 times a month. And when you're in the States, you're traveling, you're always on the go. The child needs a more stable lifestyle. It's with the parent, even though you have all this money. So that's just the hope. But ultimately, it comes down to what you said, Ferg, that, hey, not every decision will be the perfect decision. And some people probably will fall through the cracks, but it doesn't mean that we don't need to update and look at and revisit how we look at who the child winds up with. It shouldn't be automatically one parent or the other. It should be who has the best situation for that child.